Hello and welcome everyone to our latest journal review on a pilot feasibility RCT of the use of midodrine in vasopressor dependent hypertension in ICU patients, the Maverick study. It has been recently published in Journal of Critical Care. Midodrine is a peripherally acting alpha receptor agonist. After oral administration in patients with orthostatic hypotension, it causes a modest increase in supine and standing blood pressures in a dose-dependent manner. Although there is insufficient evidence to support its use in clinical practice, this study basically looks whether it can be used in an ICU setup to reduce the requirement of other vasopressors. Midodrine use will hasten weaning from intravenous vasopressor infusion is the hypothesis of this study. It is a pilot, feasibility, physiological efficacy, open-labeled, randomized controlled trial. The inclusions are all the patients admitted to the intensive care unit who are adults, that is aged 18 years or older, and having a refractory hypotension on intravenous vasopressors for more than 24 hours but deemed clinically stable by the treating clinician and receiving no more than 10 microgram per minute of NORAD or no more than 100 microgram per minute of metarominol infusion with eligibility to be enrolled in this study. The exclusions: known allergy to midodrine, clinical hemodynamic instability, that is with high vasopressor requirements, severe shock state with lactate more than 4 with multiple vasopressor infusions, renal failure stage 1 KDIGO, alternate treatable cause of a refractory hypotension like bleeding, hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic shock or obstructive shock, patient with liver failure, severe heart disease, pregnancy and thyrotoxicosis, acute brain pathology in which the treating physician deemed it inadvisable to enroll the patient, bradycardia, heart rate less than 50, and those who are being fed by a jejunal tube, and those with no enteral route available. So the intervention, it was a 10 milligram 8-hourly dose of midodrine to be administered concurrently with the ongoing intravenous vasopressors or to receive the usual therapy. Now the study drug was weaned once the primary outcome was reached, that is a cessation of intravenous vasopressors at the following rate. 10 milligram TDS was to be given in the first 24 hours after cessation, then 7.5 milligram TDS, then 5 milligram TDS. So this after cessation 72 hours the drug was to be given. Outcome: the primary physiological efficacy was the time to cessation of intravenous vasopressors after randomization, and the time cessation was defined once the vasopressor was off for more than 8 hours. Now the study sample size power, the duration of vasopressor therapy in a previous study was noted to be 2.9 days compared to 3.8 days when midodrine was not used. Now, assuming a similar difference and assuming an estimated standard deviation of 1 day in each group, they calculated a study of 30 with a power of 80 to detect such outcome. However, in an interim analysis, they increased the total sample to 70. But with the COVID pandemic, the study was stopped. Results: total 381 patients were assessed for eligibility, out of which 319 were excluded. A vast majority, that is 107, were excluded because of acute kidney injury. Severe heart failure, unable to consent, and alternative shock cause were the other important findings. Total 62 were randomized, 30 were included for primary analysis in the control group, and 32 in the midodrine group. In terms of the baseline demographic characteristics, there is not much difference in terms of age, weight, sex. In terms of baseline characteristics of the clinical parameters and lab parameters, there is not much difference except for the fact that the vasopressor dose was slightly higher in the control group compared to the midodrine group. And The WBC count was also slightly higher in the control group, though it was not statistically significant. So coming finally to the outcome, the time to first shock resolution was 17.5 hours in control and 13.5 in midodrine. Though slightly less in midodrine, it was not statistically significant. Restart of vasopressor were 4 patients in control and 6 in midodrine, again not significant. Rest parameters like hospital stay, ICU stay were almost similar. This is the Kaplan-Meier showing the randomization to cessation of vasopressor, and it was similar in the two groups as seen over here. Now if we look in terms of the fluid that was given, there was no statistical difference. This is crystal or colloid. However, you can see here slightly higher fluid was definitely given in the midodrine group. In terms of vasopressor, obviously there was a significant difference in terms of vasopressor use, which obvious in midodrine group there was an obvious decrease in vasopressor requirement. However, the mean arterial pressure was similar in the two groups as it was targeted. But again, one of the important findings is the heart rate variation, which was different between the two groups because midodrine is known to cause a slightly decrease in heart rate, and here you can see a vast majority of patients had heart rates even going below 50. So there is a significant bradycardia associated with midodrine. The clinical importance is not yet known, but definitely it is a complication which needed to be looked further. So to conclude, in this pilot feasibility physiological efficacy study, there was no statistical significant difference between the use of adjuvant midodrine and usual care in reducing the time to cessation of vasopressor and ICU length of stay or hospital length of stay. So with the current evidence, there is no evidence to use midodrine in ICUs to reduce the intravenous vasopressor requirement. However, this study has its flaws, like its open label. It has got a low sample size which limited power, so maybe we need more studies in the future, though it appears to be safe. Thank you for your patience and check our website for further information.